Welcome back. So I have the Miniverse Make It Mini appliances here. With most of the Miniverse things, you don't know what you're going to get. With these appliances, it's going to be like the boba tea, but you're not sure if it's going to be this color or this one. Of the two, I kind of hope we get this one, because it looks like it's maybe peach. But I don't know, they both look pretty cute. Let's see. They have these little tear strips, but they don't always work like that. So that's why I have the scissors nearby, just in case. This one wasn't too bad. And then, of course, they always have their double layered wrappings. Never quite get the end, they're so close. Come on, you can do it. Alright, oh, I think I've opened it upside down. Just lift that up. There we go. Alright, so we have like a mat of some kind. This has ice cubes on it. That's pretty cute. It kind of looks like it's the frozen ingredients. Alright, so we have our little boba for the boba tea. Little round dots. I believe it's yogurt that's in them. I'm not sure. And then this is going to be the tea itself. And looks like little placemat looking things. Bring these up here so you can see. You have little placemats. And then this is the tea, or the boba rather. You can see it says 100% happy on the back. So I do love their packaging for these Miniverse items. And we have tiny little ice cubes. They look pretty real, I think. And then the milk tea here, which it looks like we got the purple one. You can see, again, it says 100% happy. We have the smiling sun. It says milk tea. Happy sun farms. Then it says good stuff. And a bunch of tiny print things. Alright. And this half, we have the machine itself, which seems to be some assembly required. Okay. And then more stuff. There's all kinds of things in here. Oh, this looks like it's going to be our cups. And I'm assuming straws of some kind. Oh, and a little tray. That is cute. So we have like a little drink tray like they give you at like McDonald's or something. And it says mini on the side. We have our little cup, which is clear and looks like a cup. Fits in there really well. And another one. And then a pair of yellow straws, which do actually feel, yeah, they are actually thicker the way that boba straws are. So that's a pretty cute detail to include. And then we have the instructions. which we do need scissors to open. So we have the actual instructions, and then different languages, and the read me first. Wow, okay, so you can have a look at these. I do appreciate that they include like extra details and stuff. That's pretty nice to have. So it says you can attach the base to both of them. And over here it says you can actually attach the different machines together. So that's pretty neat. I didn't know that. I'll have to get another one and test that out later. Then there's how to store the display, how to clean it. It looks like you're supposed to let the sun solidify the UV, I think, or the UV resin rather, and then you can, I'm assuming, pop it out. Looks like. I don't know if it'll do that, but we'll see. All right. So here's the actual machines you can get. So we've got a little soda fountain, an espresso machine, the boba machine we got. The other option would have been a juice dispenser, it looks like. There's the other color of soda fountain, espresso machine, boba machine, and juice dispenser again. So that's pretty neat. I do kind of wish that it was like 8 different things, but I do appreciate the different colors too. That was I think that is peach tea. This one, I'm not sure what flavor this one is. I guess blueberry? Maybe? Anyway. Alright, so we need to assemble our machine first. And then... Okay, so we put the resin in there. And then put the ice and the boba pearls into the tea. And then dispense the resin and seal it. And then put in the straw and let it sit in the sun. Now I'm not going to use the sun because it's nighttime here. So I will be... Actually, I'll set this back here. I'm going to be using a UV light made for drying like gel nails and such. So we'll see if the cord will reach to my little setup here. But first let's get that assembled. So let's see, there it is, boba. So we just pop them both on the base, it looks like. Okay. So we have, oh, that's the skinny one. All right. And then, does it go this way? Yeah. There's this one. And then, oh, okay. So there's how they go together. There we go. And then the other machines would go right here. And there. Okay. So that makes sense. That's pretty good. You can see inside there, it looks like you push the button down there and it opens up a little flap. Alright. Then that's going to go here. So there's our machine. So here's how that looks assembled. Pretty cute. Right. This is your cup sealant stickers. So let's go ahead and And do this. And then usually these drinks, the resin works better if you warm it up first, so I will do that and then be right back. Actually, I've got that warming up. You can just sit it, like without opening the container, sit it in a small bowl of like warm water, and that will warm it up really well and make it flow a lot better, which usually you need to be able to get enough resin out to fill 2 cups, especially these big cups like this. And so while I'm warming that up, I love these little bread ties things. They're so cute. While we're warming that up, I'm going to get the ice and the boba pearls added into the cups, since we need to do that first anyway. So, let's see. Actually, I need to do the boba tea first, or bubbles first, because ice is supposed to float, which these do not, because they're plastic. So, usually what I'll do is put a little bit of resin in there, and then solidify it, and then put the ice on top, so that it looks like it's floating at the top of the container. Because it looks weird when the ice is on the bottom. So there's our little pearls. It's kind of hard to see in there. Let's see if we can get a couple out. They're like little, sort of a dark purple or brown maybe. And very tiny and cute. So let's get a few of those in there. Of course, the issue with putting these in first is that quite often you will get resin bubbles, because it does not want to flow down in between all the little bits. But we're going to try it their way and see how it comes out. Alright, so we've got a fair amount of pearls in there. Oh, tapioca, that's what it is. Tapioca pearls. So we have a fair amount of that in there. And then it said add the ice. So we'll just add it. Oop. And then this. And that's got a little too much in it. There we go. So you can see it's going to be sitting like partway down, but we may just only fill it up to right there so that it's not sinking, essentially. And when we put the resin in, we'll stir it up with like a straw to help get rid of any air bubbles inside. That should help. So, now that the resin is warmed up, hopefully it does not drip. Please don't drip. Actually, we're gonna move this over here so that if it does drip, it does not get on my floor. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it just lays in there, so. There we go. There's that. Whew. Now, the moment of truth. Let's see. Anything? Oh, it's coming out. Okay. It's a little bit hard to see. Let's see if I can lift it up here so you can see what's happening. Oh, wait. Okay, and see, it's not wanting to flow downwards because of all the stuff in the way, so we will have to modify this a little bit. see, we can stir this in a little bit. It is thankfully a very light color, so won't be able to tell too bad, I don't think. It looks really pretty now that it's down in there. But we're going to need some more resin in there. Let's see if we can get this in here. It does seem to be coming out in kind of blobs rather than flowing. See, this is why you put the resin in there first, because now there's air bubbles like crazy. Whereas if you did it layer by layer, you could make sure it was nice and mixed in full and just let things sink. So on the second one, we'll try it my way. Which in this case, because it's a drink, little air bubbles are not a big deal, because drinks have air bubbles. So I don't really mind like these little ones here. It's the really big open patches that I'm trying to avoid. So I think that just about does it for that one. Need to kind of dig away in for the straw too. So I have to move that stuff around a second, because we are supposed to be able to put the lid on over here somehow. Oh, there's a tape right there. Aha. Looks like, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be coming off that way or what. Nope, do not spill. I think it is. There. Alright, so here's the little lid. It says boba and has a happy little sun. Those are cute. And here's our drink, which I will try to fix, but I don't think there's much you can do once it's all already in there. Alright, so now we have to put the lid in, the straw in, before we harden it, because otherwise it obviously won't go in. But again, with all the stuff already in there, like there's a there. See, it's there. Okay, I think that'll work. Now I should be able to harden the resin like from the outside, because this is clear and the resin isn't too solid. So it should be able to penetrate in there and solidify it. But I would normally prefer being able to do it from the top as well, just to make sure that the middle is getting done a little more, because when these kind of containers don't get done in the middle, a lot of times you'll get like a crust that will break and then you have toxic resin spilling out, which you obviously do not want, especially if you have like children or pets or somebody who's not going to be cautious that might find it. Okay, so let me get this stuff out of the way. So that actually does fit on there with the resin bottle inside. And so far, there's a little bit of a drip in there. I don't know if you can see, but nope, there it goes. It just fell down. Yep. That's what I was afraid of. Give me the cup. Give me the cup. Nope. Alright, I think we're going to take that out. I do not want resin all over my little table. I'm going to see if that will like flow downward maybe. Alright, I think it's very slowly coming out, so I will pause until I can get this cleaned up. Alright, I've dripped out what I can from there. There's still a little bit in there. Hopefully I can get this finished and get that solidified before it becomes an issue. So now, a few things did get stuck in there because they got a little bit of resin on them where I was catching the drip. But that's okay. We can work with that. So, what I would recommend you do would be more like this. You add in the resin first, then drop in your little pearls. Also, it would have been really nice to have some kind of small tongs or something like they include in other things to help with picking these little pearls up. Okay. Since they didn't give me one or anything else, now I could use a toothpick, but I'm trying to stick with what they give you. So, now I can smush all these pearls down in there. Get that ice to come up a little bit, hopefully. There. Oh, there's still a bubble there. Ice cube does not want to come up. Alright, I think that's as good as it's going to get. Now, let me get my light and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and as you can see, I did remember to add the straw before it got too hard to put it in there. It should be fairly centered, I think, at least enough to work. It did take a little longer than some of the other resins that I've had with Miniverse, but the little lamp does work, so let's see. So now we need our next layer, which is going to be this. We may have a little extra to add to the first one, because we gotta leave room for ice. So I'm going to put this lid back on good and let it sit like this while we take care of this one. And hopefully we can add some more to that one. So now, you can see they sink right in. So like, you don't have to, oops. You don't have to worry about them like sitting on the surface or whatever, because they're hard plastic, they sink. And if you can do it quickly enough, it'll look at least somewhat like they're floating. So now I'm going to go harden this real quick. So that one is under the light hardening, and while it is doing so, I'm going to pop the sticker up, hopefully without pulling out the straw, and try to add whatever's left of the resin. When you're pouring this, the thin line like this, hopefully it shows up on camera, is a better way to pour it, because theoretically at least, it doesn't let air bubbles form. Whereas, if you pour like a big old glob, a lot of times that will capture air on the way down. Alright, I think we've got just about all of it. There we go. Okay. So it looks like this time we had just enough to fill both of them pretty close to the top. I did get a toothpick as well, so I'm going to try to get rid of some air bubbles and bring these ice pieces a little further up. I'm also trying to tuck the boba pieces down where they belong. And get the straw at least somewhat centered. Alright. I'm trying to get this to level out a little bit, because you can see it's a little bit high on one side, but mostly from the ice cube, so I think we're alright. I'm going to put this under the light, and then we'll be back when they're both hardened. And we're back again. So, here's how this one came out. This is the one that I did my way. You can see the boba bubbles are mostly on the bottom, and the ice is mostly on the top. We have like a stray one that fell down here. But for the most part, the ice is where it should be, right? It's up on the top, floating, So, if you do it their way, you can see things are a little more messy. You have because you can't, you've got ice on the very bottom, where it obviously shouldn't be. Some of the ice is sunken. Some of the bobas are floating. And it still looks nice. Like, it's not bad at all. I just prefer doing it in layers, because it gives you a little more control. So, here's that sticker. You can pop one like this and have a solid little boba tea. And then get the other one off the machine here. And we'll cap it too. So I do like the different colors for the lids. I think those are pretty cute. And they look good, I think. So we'll put them in the little tray here. So you can see. Now I think this is probably just a little bit too big for Barbie. But for Miniverse isn't really to scale anyway. Like you can see, this is a perfume I did in the last video, and it's either a giant bottle of perfume or a teeny tiny little cup of boba. So they aren't really to scale to each other either. So in this case, what do I have near? Here we go. So I have a little Barbie. So one of the Little Mermaid kid Barbies. You can see that is a giant cup, like that is bigger than her head. Like, it's definitely not to scale for them. So, but overall, it's a really cute project. You get a cute little dispenser, which would be great for like a little kitchen setup. I'm probably going to do that later with my scene here. Set up like some cabinets and stuff once I find them. So it'll be good for that, I think. And I do like that they give you a few extra of the lid covers too, in case they get messed up like that one is. Let me see if we can fix that. Maybe not. I'll try to fix it later. So, but so there we go. This is our Miniverse boba tea dispenser. It was a lot of fun to do. I think it was fairly well designed. They do need to fix the leakage on this one. That whole thing is not great. I mean, it's not the worst leakage I've ever seen either, though. So, maybe a 5 out of 10 for this one. It's cute. It works mostly. A little bit of leakage, so yeah, I'll say a 5. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.